Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. Before YouTube became the place of choice for comic book fans to get together and talk about comics and learn things about comics, the internet was full of blogs and websites like fan sites that did all that. And I bring this up because there was a time that I used to do comic book reviews for a website in Northern Ireland out of Belfast, which didn't last for very long. But for a period between 2017 and 18, I did a blog. And this blog was similar to the content that I'm doing here. I'd pick out characters I liked and did stories on the characters. Because I did one on Son of Satan, on Black Widow, on Supergirl, and I would pick series I liked, like Action Comics. I did a story on the Action Comics team ups just after post crisis, where those books 590, 584 to 600, for example. I bring this up because one of the features that I did back then, my son was about 5 years old, and I would have him randomly pick a book out of my collection, just pick one out, and I would do a review of that book. Now, he picked out some stinkers in the day. But I did the reviews. I had a lot of fun, and it mostly gave me a little time to spend with my young son and this hobby. My son is now 16. He is no longer a part of this. He likes comic book characters, but he doesn't like comic books. He likes playing Xbox Legos with the Marvels and all that other stuff, but he doesn't read comic books. He likes to go to Free Comic Book Day, but again, that's neither here nor there. I took this a different step. I had my daughter point to a box. That box, I pulled out 10 books, and I just went like this and went stop, and I picked up 5 books that way, 5 books that way. 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books. And I am now going to do a quick synopsis of the 10 books that I randomly picked from the box my daughter pointed out. Well, she picked a box that had Batman in it. And by Batman, I mean the actual Batman series. So, today, I'm going to do 10 descriptions of Batman comics that I just pulled out of a box. Starting with this one. This is Batman 576. Cool cover. A young Arab prince has been kidnapped by a group. Oh my God, Matt, you really need to learn to read. Sent, okay. By a group sent by a man named Cypher. The word sent looks like gent. Batman and Bullock are already chasing the helicopter when Ali falls out. That's the name of the prince. Batman tries his best, but Ali manages to fall into the water and escapes. Ali runs from Batman because he's scared of bats in general, but Batman in particular. Luckily, Batman is able to convince him to come with him, and he captures all the henchmen while Cypher escapes. Batman 581. Yes, they're not consecutive. I'm missing some issues from this run. Orca, that's the name of the villain in this book. Orca wreaks havoc on a yacht, and Batman is right in the middle of it. Orca gets hit by bullets and jumps overboard with a hostage. Batman is prepared and follows her in. Batman catches up and saves the hostage and defeats Orca, who is a character by the name of Dr. Balin, who then Batman gives a serum, making her into Orca permanently. Now, I assume in the next issue that continues because this feels like it's not a complete story. But I don't have the next issue. I have this instead, Batman 584. A team of film students decide to come to Gotham to make a documentary to see whether Batman is real or a myth. The Gotham City Police Department tells this group that Batman does not exist. Batman is meanwhile trying to stop the Penguin and his men from a caper while avoiding getting seen by the documentarians. He does see that they're doing this. He finally has to save them because they went and did something stupid. And at that point, he tells them that he has to stay a myth in order to do his job, and the students decide not to do the documentary. That is a complete story, and that was a fun one. Because that one gives me a little bit of a groove of a the Blair Witch and things like that. Only it ends as a better ending. Next up, we have Batman 586, and here I have a little solid run. Basically, aboard a yacht. What's with the yachts and Batman, eh? The Penguin relates how he stopped and killed the Batman. Penguin has his men the Penguin has his men kill a couple and kidnap the son. Batman rescues the boy, only to discover that it's a decoy bot, a robot that explodes, and Penguin thinks he's killed the bat. We then see that the Penguin is just having a daydream, because how else would he be able to, during the same dream, push Bruce Wayne off the same yacht? Another interesting little book. It's funny how the Penguin always has delusions of grandeur like this. I don't know if people have seen the latest storyline involving the Penguin, where he's faked his death and his kids are getting his working through his inheritance, and who gets the club, who gets the money, and all that stuff, and they're killing each other off. And I don't know if that Penguin wanted that to happen, or it's just a natural thing from their grows up from their upbringing or not. But it's just that is fun to see, because I mean, you never get to see a lot of stories of what happens after Batman stops the villains. How does the vacuums get filled? Next up, this is the beginning of a storyline that goes across multiple titles. This is the beginning book, so I'm going to show it. Batman 587. It's Jim Gordon's birthday, and the cops have rented out a cop bar, and they're having a big party to celebrate. He tells all the cops that he has gifts for them and hands them each handcuff keys. He then gives the reasonings behind the gift. Number 1, handcuff keys are always something you can't find when you need them. And number 2, it is a symbol of what makes cops unique. In the background of the book, you see Batman working the police line and working his tail off to make absolutely certain nothing would happen tonight to get cops to come out and ruin the party. However, at the end of the book, Jim Gordon goes out, sees Catwoman, and suddenly he's shot 3 times. This story carries over in a issue of Robin, and then goes on from there. It crosses all of the Bat books. So, next up, this is Batman 588. A nice picture of Matches Malone on the cover. Batman walks into a bar looking for information about cop killing bullets that are being sold all across Gotham. Seeing Matches Malone, he picks him up, demanding information. Due to this fact, Scarface, who hears about it, decides that Malone deserves a place on his team. Malone accepts. It turns out that Dick Grayson was the Batman and Bruce Wayne was dressed as Matches. Batman and Nightwing ambush the ventriloquist gang on the docks as they're doing their deal. Scarface thinks that Matches set them up, and later Oracle informs Bruce and Dick in the Batcave that Matches has been shot. Ooh, How could Matches have been shot if Batman is Matches Malone? Let's find out in Batman 589 with another nice cover of Matches. Matches Malone is dead. Batman tells Nightwing that there really was a Matches Malone and that he had committed suicide allegedly after the death of his brother, thus making the identity available for Batman to take. But it turns out that Matches had faked his death, and he's returned to Gotham City to clear his name with Scarface. But they were having nothing to do with it, and they've shot him. Leading us to Batman 590, which is the end of this story arc. This was another good arc, and I'll talk short after. Batman tries to find Scarface by beating up a bunch of hoods at a printer's place known to be a Scarface hangout. Meanwhile, Barbara and Dick have a conversation regarding what's happening to Bruce. He's they're very concerned about him because he seems to be having a break with this. Batman then decides to become Matches again and goes to a bar. Oracle traces the call from the bar that the bartender makes to a dilapidated movie theater where Scarface and the ventriloquists are. Batman confronts them and then runs out, dresses as Matches Malone, and burns Scarface to the ground, thus fulfilling a promise to kill Matches Killer. Excuse me. Which he did. And the reason I like this storyline so much was you see a bit of Batman is a man who's always flipping identities. Bruce Wayne, Batman, and even to a smaller extent, Matches. Only this time, Batman got too much into the Matches Malone thing and was actually very close to thinking about killing the ventriloquist, which, of course, is a line that we all know that Batman won't. So, in the end, this book, this series, those three stories ended up being an interesting look at a psychological problem that some people, especially those that have more than one identity, seem to have. And for superheroes and supervillains, that is a big thing. Not so much for the villains, because a lot of them don't have jobs and regular lives. They may hide their identities to protect their families, but they don't have a job usually outside of the criminal, where guys like Batman do, or Superman. So it's always an interesting study to find out what's going on behind the scenes. It is one of the reasons I like Batman. Batman, more than any other book, there's so many psychotics, there's so much psychosis involved that for people interested in criminology and behavioral studies, Batman comics would make a good read. Next up, Batman 597. While chasing down criminals, Batman is distracted and finds a body that's that's been wrapped up in a carpet. The body has a broken neck. He begins the investigation, starting with the carpet. Next morning, Bruce gets a call from his current girlfriend, claiming he's ignoring her. That night, Batman tries to track down a man by the name of Philo Zeiss. He is a hitman of a Peter Perkins, who is a criminal spy. After Zeiss claims he's trained to beat the Bat, Batman brings Batgirl into the fight, thus making it end quickly. And this one, again, seems to carry over into the next issue, and I don't have the next issue. By the way, I want everybody to know that I'm doing quick synopsises. There's a lot more to each of these books that I'm actually getting into. And this is an example of that. The last book of the ones I pulled out is Batman 599. which is an early issue in the Bruce Wayne murderer arc. I'm not going to get into details of this particular book because it would feel very incomplete, and I would rather try to do a video on that arc with the whole story than to just try and explain one part of it. So, those are the 10 books that were randomly picked by me after my daughter picked the box. I say picked because, as I said, I went like this. That's the book, 5 and 5, and then the entire book was from Batman. They're all short boxes. I have 4 short boxes of Batman alone, so that isn't surprising. But I hope you like if this concept works out, I'm going to try it again because I've got 70 some boxes here, and I could pull out some real interesting stuff on any given day. And what it boils down to here is I like showing comic books. I doubt there are a lot of channels out there that showed the books I just showed. That kind of thing I like to do. I like to treat everybody to new stuff as much as I can. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Do you have any of these books? Do you know the stories in the books that I'm missing from the run? If so, tell me what goes on. I want to go out and buy them probably once I see that. I mean, honestly, I want to own every book. I know realistically I don't have the resources or the space for it, but that's the kind of OCD comic personality I have. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too.